when the Vedas are thousands of years old. But at one point, about 2,500 years ago, there was two emerging religions came forward, and one was Buddhism, and the other was Jainism. Basically, they came about, and they completely trashed the religion that was going on before that, which was the whole religion from the Vedas of yajna or sacrifice, in which people would perform different, they're called fire yajnas, and there was a whole way of speaking with God through these fire yajnas and so many different ways. There was a whole philosophy called karma mimamsa, which is there's a way in which you perform sacrifices to satisfy the demigods who are in charge of all the different elements, and thereby everyone would live happily. It was quite a profound system, very powerful. And this system, which Buddhism came, because they were starting to sacrifice animals in this thing, and they were doing it too much. You see it in the Bible also. Jesus threw out all the traders in the temple. He just got them, leave, go. Get out of here. You're just utilizing this place in the wrong way. This is meant to be glorifying God, and you're just getting into a whole trading thing. So Buddhism came about because they were so dissatisfied with how animals were treated. They were treated in such a horrible way. And although the Vedas originally, it was done in a very powerful way, in which very rarely an animal would be sacrificed, but the animal would actually go up in species. It would actually be it would be a way in which they could guarantee that the yoga was done properly, and the living entity in the body of the animal would go to the heavenly planets. It was like science today. The way people go into the laboratory and they do all these tests and then they get the result. But this was a metaphysical, based on the spirit. They had such access to all, as is explained here, to the demigods and so on. In other words, the controllers of the universe. They were so powerfully in contact with these people that they could actually, guarantee amazing physical or weather and plentifulness, and there was a whole system basically. But it became abused, like a lot of other things, and what was happening was that people were just sacrificing basically animals, and they wanted to eat the animals basically. So Lord Buddha came, and he brought in this whole philosophy of, anyone know what it was called? Ahimsa, yes. And he did this really so as that he could bring back very, very, but what he did was he denounced this whole system. Now the Indian religion was so powerful at that time that it was able to facilitate this. It didn't go to war. There wasn't a huge, massive world wars about this. Whereas in other religious systems, like in the 16th, 17th centuries in England, when the Protestants and the Catholics, there was absolutely, utterly brutal wars in which there was unspeakable cruelty meted out to each other, to each of these different parts. So it shows you that at the time that there was a lot of scope for debate. People could disagree over these were major religious or spiritual paths, but still they were able to accommodate you, and there was no major war about it. Now the whole thing which happened subsequently is that Buddhism or Jainism became a little bit less palatable. There's only about 5 million followers now of Jainism in the world today, but it became very much that's because it insisted on a very, very strict method of practicing spiritual life, and not many people could do it. And Buddhism as well, that divided into Mahayana and Hinayana. The Hinayana was the lesser path, and the Mahayana was the greater path. So what that did, was that, and the extraordinary thing about the Buddha himself is that there was no records of the Buddha until 100 years, 200 years, or there was the records, and what he said was developed sometimes 300 and 400 years afterwards. So what the Buddha said was a lot of the time was misinterpreted or could have been misinterpreted. He never said there wasn't any God. He just didn't speak about it. But the followers subsequently said that he was saying that there was no God, and so on. So basically that had an effect on Buddhism as well. And Buddhism, a lot of it had to do with performing severe austerities as well. This was the Hinayana system, which was the narrow system. And therefore, not many people could actually practice it. And so then the Mahayana system had a greater kind of understanding. And then instead of not having a God there, it had all the trappings of God. It had it had all the heaven. Because their next door neighbors were the people who were practicing the Vedic scripture as well. So what happened was that the whole Vedic scriptures, and it reinvented itself, and it became kind of more like what Hinduism is today in that sense, or at least from that time, and that it learned a lot from what happened as well. So it's interesting the way religious systems would change and would incorporate different things. So the reason I wanted to get into that was to explain a little bit more about this whole yajna and what we're talking about here, and how because I've actually done some fire yajnas. I've done weddings in which there's a fire, and I offer all the grains into the fire, and all the instead of being jewels, we have chalk, which is coloured yellow instead of actual gold. But you offer all rubies and everything into the fire. So it's a major, very, very expensive process as well. So we're not able to do it these days. But I also have to understand myself. Why am I doing this? It's generally I do it for weddings or for births or things like that. So the whole thing about it is that and I've often found it when I've done it, and especially if I've done it out in the open, it's an incredible energy that comes about when you're in touch with the elements, with fire, and it's an incredible kind of you're purifying the whole yajna, the whole pit. You're offering grains to all the directions. You're praying. Obviously, you're praying to Krishna, who's the supreme, who's the source of everything, which is being explained in these texts. But there's a very purifying atmosphere that comes about, and you're offering ghee to the fire, and everybody then offers grains. The whole ceremony is there, and it has potency. It has a great purifying potency, actually. So, but actually, what's spoken about in these verses here a lot more is that it's very difficult to perform all of those activities anymore. It's become very, very difficult. So, what is being presented here now in these particular texts, and Srila Prabhupada repeats it 4 times in the purport. He says that the easiest process in this age now is that if everyone chants the holy name and the Hare Krishna mantra, so it becomes a lot more easy. We don't have to get rubies and gold and offer it into the fire anymore. We can just we can chant Hare Krishna. And the Lord Chaitanya, who appeared in the 15th century, that is what he was actually bringing to the party. That everybody, don't worry, you don't have to do all of these austerities anymore, because some of the austerities that were being performed, people wouldn't eat. They would just take whatever they could eat from the dropping leaves on the tree. That's all they were allowed to eat, so that they could actually concentrate on I don't know what, but they would perform these severe austerities in order to come in touch with that. So in several instances here, and this is particularly relevant to this section in the Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga, because work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed, otherwise work causes bondage. So this is what we are doing today, all of us. We're in this world, and we're constantly performing activities, and we want to perform activities which will free us from the reactions of this world. And Krishna has set this whole process up, and he comes and he explains to us on a regular basis how we should live here. And The second thing that's being really promoted here as well is that, and it's in one of the verses, I'll get it here. It's 3:14, 3:15. Sorry, let's get this out here. Oh yeah, 13, sorry. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sin because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin. So, as I was saying earlier, I was talking about mint tea or whatever, there's a certain side of us which is always looking for some satisfaction or gratification. So, eating is probably one of the biggest. The four activities which we have in common with the animals are eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. They're the four we are actually, in one sense, we have an animal body, you could say. So how do we regulate that? How do we get that to act as a human body? Be through the mind, the intelligence, through understanding about philosophy. That's how we do it. And Krishna says, regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas. So we perform regulated activities. That's another way in which we do that. It's not that we're not affected by eating or by mating or defending or sleeping. There are things which are going on. But we have to learn how to exist and how to regulate those things. And that's what Krishna is giving us this gift to do. Prabhupada says in the purport in 3:11, is one of the most, I think this is where it is, one of the most incredible sentences, just towards the end. By performance of yajna, this is just in the last paragraph there, by performance of yajna, one's eatables become sanctified, and by eating sanctified foodstuffs, one's very existence becomes purified. By the purification of existence, finer tissues in the memory become sanctified. And when memory is sanctified, one can think of the path of liberation. And all these combined together lead to Krishna consciousness, the great necessity of present-day society. So that puts us in, it puts the emphasis on us to live properly to help society. Now, we could just live simply and act based on the dictates of the animal propensities. Eat, mate, sleep, defend. And they could be our guiding principles. They could be actually getting us to act. And in fact, on a gross level, in Krishna consciousness, we generally we follow four regulative principles: no meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and no gambling. If you leave the living, you don't have to. You know what goes on outside. I don't have to tell you, it's there. So we stop that on a gross level, but it's going on in us on a subtle level. Sometimes not so subtle as we'd like to think, but it's going on in there internally, and that is based on our samskaras from many, many lifetimes. Samskaras are deep in there. Many, many lifetimes we have been dictated to by these particular propensities. The propensity to eat, to mate, to sleep, and defend. And When I was telling you earlier about the mint tea, but that it says something to us, but it's actually it's worse than that. It's not mint tea. All these things are kind of dictating to us constantly, and that's what gets us not to think about pleasing God. They're the things which get us to remove ourselves from God, because there is an absolute, how would you call it? What way would you put it? An avalanche of these ideas constantly dictating to us what to do. So that gives us some idea of what is required in Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga, we try to perform these activities by regulation. We're not on the spontaneous platform. We're not spontaneously able to immediately think of Krishna or think of God. Just mention God's name. If someone is very advanced, you mention God's name, sometimes they will even faint because they immediately think of God, because they're in contact with God. That's very elevated stage. But at the same time, we shouldn't be frightened of that, or we shouldn't think, oh, that's not for me. We can get enough reciprocation in our lives to make us want to actually practice this process of devotional life. We can get enough to encourage us more and more and more. And there's no point in me really speaking about it theoretically. I think everybody has to experience that for themselves, and that actually is what encourages us in spiritual life. We can actually develop it more by being in touch with people who have that energy more. That is what we need. This association is so important. The other type of association is, I was listening to a talk today, and everything is having an effect on us. When we go out on the street, when we're in work, there's a vibration from everything. As devotees, we have to raise our vibration to such a degree that it's not being affected by all the vibrations around us. That's where the sadhana and the practice comes in. But the most important vibration is the vibration we get in relation with other people or with other devotees. That will encourage us probably one of the most. Like the whole science of Bhakti Yoga, it starts with a little faith that this actually works. And then the next is a sadhu sangha. You associate with people who are vibrating on the level that they want to become purified in spiritual life. And once that starts to happen, we become very enlivened. We become enlivened by that, very much so. And then the next stage that we take on is that we start to practice some of this regulation. Because we're told, when we associate with those people, that we perform this regulation, we will become immune. And then the next thing that Prabhupada says in this purport is he talks about the immunity when we eat spiritual food. When we actually offer it, it says the finer tissues in the memory. Now, I don't know if anybody knows what that actually is. What are the finer tissues in the memory? It's a very subtle thing. But we know from one verse in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Amata smrita jnanam apohanam cha. From me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So we can take it on different levels, but we should take it on a metaphysical level. That there is a memory there is a spiritual memory, whereby we can remember, we can remember our actual nature, our original nature, which is full of knowledge and full of bliss. So if we take it on that level, then Krishna, he will give us memory, knowledge, and forgetfulness as well. So we want him to give us the memory of spiritual life, and we want him to help us forget material life. So in that sense, we're vibrating on a level that Krishna will help us. Actually, God helps us to to focus on spiritual energy and forget material energy. That will be the vibration we're going on. So we will attract people actually to us who are also on that path as well. And therefore the association goes further and further and further. Now, the next stage, which I talk about a lot, is the anartha nivritti stages, which is from all those cascading, either from below or above, from below I would say, coming in, usually cascading comes down, but these are kind of the things from our previous lifetimes and whatever. They enter into the fray. But we also become immune from them as well. We actually can vibrate at a level whereby we're not being affected by our previous karma. So this is all coming about by us actually practicing the rules of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is a science. This is an amazing thing. It is every bit, and if not more, a science than the physics and chemistry and biology and whatever. It's every bit as more. It's more actually. It's the original science, and so this is what we're discussing today. This is what Krishna. This is what Krishna is presenting to us and is giving us. How we can rise beyond the anartha nivritti stage onto the steady stage, and then eventually we'll start to develop more of a taste for spiritual life. We will not. There's an incredible verse in Bhagavad Gita in 7.1. It's called Asangsayam samagram yata dhyasyasi takshanu. And Krishna explains to Arjuna how we can know him in full, free from doubt. Maya ishakta manapata yoga yunjamadashraya. Means that we don't have any more doubt. The doubt is us on the lower stages of, being affected by the lower things. That's keeping us down there. We're just kind of struggling along, blind basically. But the knowledge, Krishna says, he gives the knowledge by which nescience is destroyed, and that knowledge is a living thing. We can actually we can connect with Krishna through that knowledge, and we can see Krishna more and more. And what that does is that it gives us that technique to please Krishna. Do you remember at the start we were saying that the difficulty is that we want to please ourselves? It's almost like we're programmed that way. But this knowledge gives us the energy and the vision and the techniques to please Krishna. So we start to live our life more and more and more pleasing Krishna. So therefore we start to act properly here in this world. And the amazing thing is that when we do that, Krishna starts reciprocating more and more and starts putting more and more things in our lives, whereby we become more and more absorbed in Krishna consciousness. We get, as I said, Krishna gives us knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. He gives us memory of who we are, of our position in relationship with him. He gives us the impetus, to perform spiritual life instead of material life. So that is the nature of the Supreme. That's the nature of God. He is constantly here in this world, constantly trying to get us to actually see him and to recognize him and to act in that way. And we will then get much more knowledge how to please Krishna in this world. And that is what will give us the greatest possible taste. I've experienced that on numerous occasions actually. That when you become absorbed in serving Krishna, I'm not saying that I'm on this level by any means, like on a massive scale, but any time that I have, when you become absorbed in serving Krishna, all the lower tastes go away, you know, and the lower tastes are, you know, and I think a lot of people probably can relate with this. When, you know, when they are completely absorbed in something, they don't need to sleep. They're not interested in eating. You know, generally it comes about when somebody's in love, or, you know, they just completely, you know, they're on another planet. They forget about eating. They forget about whatever. That's just a kind of an example of that. But it's Vishaya Vinivartante Niraha Hashitayanam Rasavarjama Sopyasa Param Drishvanam Nivartate. It means that we're experiencing a higher taste, you know, and this is what spiritual life is about. It's about the higher taste. The lower taste, they just go, it just vanishes, it goes away, and so therefore the animalistic propensities, eating, mating, sleeping, defending, become reduced, and the false ego, which is the person who is identifying with this material body, becomes dissolved. This is so powerful that the thing which has brought us here for millions of lifetimes, that sense, the false sense of I, actually just kind of, you know, dissolves, becomes non-existent. You know, and that is because we're vibrating on a spiritual level of which we're having a taste of. We're experiencing a higher taste. So the lower tastes, then they vanish, they go away. So this is what Krishna is saying, but he's saying that we also can experience it even on a much higher metaphysical level. Krishna is saying that it's called, I forget the name, there was some word, it says that Prabhupada uses the example of when there is a disease about, and then we take a vaccine which prevents us from getting that disease. This is what Bhakti Yoga is like. We can take this, you know, prasadam, you know, it's food offered to God. We can chant Hare Krishna. Immediately we become immune to the things which are there, the diseases of the material world. So that's the power of Bhakti Yoga. So I'll stop there just for a couple of minutes. Does anybody have any comments? Anyone like to add anything, ask any questions?
Not yet.
Okay.
I don't necessarily have a question, but
Yeah.
I'll just get the ball rolling. Actually, what you said was really uplifting for me to hear about just such a simple thing, like offering to Krishna of foods which was sacrificed, then to give it back to him is a really nice way of just basically saying thank you for sustaining yourself.
Yeah.
And being able to then, you know, obviously continue in doing activities for Krishna.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is.
That's all I really have to say.
But it's, as you say, it's a simple process, and it's quite extraordinary how simple it is today. What we have to do, Yagya Shishtantana Santan Mushante Sarva Kilbishai Munjate Te Tvakam Papa Ye Panchant Atma Karanat. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is first offered for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin. So, you know, you're offering it to God, and it's such a nice thing to do, to cook something really nice. Because I know when you cook, I've often seen you cooking before, and it's you always put a lot of concentration and energy and offer it very nicely. And I think it's worth listening actually to the purport where Prabhupada says, is everybody ready to, it's in 3.13. Devotees of the Supreme Lord are the persons who are Krishna conscious, are called santas, and they are always in love with the Lord, as it is described in the Brahma Samhita 5.38. Pramanjana churita bhakti valot chanena sanktas sadaiva hridayeshu valokayanti narasas and shama sundarama chinta gunasvarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham jami. The santas are always in a compact of love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, the giver of all pleasures, or Mukunda, the giver of liberation, or Krishna, the all-attractive person, and cannot accept anything without first offering it to the Supreme Person. Therefore, such devotees always perform yajnas in different modes of devotional service, such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Sakyam, Dasyam, Atmanivedanam. And these performances of yajnas keep them always aloof from all kinds of contamination of sinful association in the material world. Others who prepare food for self or sense gratification are not only thieves, but also eaters of all kinds of sins. How can a person be happy if he is both a thief and sinful? Prabhupada doesn't put any punches. It is not possible. Therefore, in order for people to become happy in all respects, they must be taught to perform the easy process of Sankirtan Yoga in full Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, there can be no peace or happiness in the world. Got it? So Prabhupada's not, he's not actually just here to give some nice little light philosophies that everyone is kind of satisfied. Oh yes, that sounds really good. Prabhupada he's a revolutionary. He's trying to change the whole course of humanity. He's not interested in just trying to make people kind of, oh, that sounds very nice, thank you very much. He's not into that, He's actually trying to change the whole course of society, which is probably has some very gross terminology to say about what the society is. But he's actually trying to bring real peace in society and in each person, and that's really what we've got here, and this is really what this whole thing is about, is that we're trying to find that inner peace that is there in us, because it's there naturally, and he wants to bring it out. We're being dictated to by this crazy society, and we're never going to get peace if we're chasing all the things that were meant to make us happy, because it won't. But we're not in government, we can't kind of get in there and say, everybody, okay, you should all do this. And the likelihood is that if we did get in government, we'd probably be as bad as everybody else, because we would become distracted by all the trappings and all those things. But what we are doing is that we're saying that if everybody, we can change the world starting with ourselves, starting with the person in the mirror, one by one by one by one. And this whole process of spiritual life, Prabhupada brings in there, he actually, it's almost unbeknownst to us, he brought in this actually, this whole process of devotional service, bhakti yoga. Bhagavad Gita is very liberal, it talks about all the different yoga systems. But Prabhupada, who's given the commentary, is saying, by performing devotional service, you will be set free. He basically, all throughout, he's saying what Krishna is saying in 1866. Sarva dharma parityajya mamikam sharanam vraja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. That's what he's saying. And I will protect you from all sinful reactions, so do not fear. So there's no need to fear. All the stuff I was talking about earlier, all the crap from our previous lifetimes, and it is momentous. It goes through millions of lifetimes. Krishna will protect us from that forever. But Prabhupada is saying that the Bhakti Yoga starts with Shravanam, is hearing, what we're doing today. This is why we set this whole thing up, is through hearing. Shravanam, Kirtanam, chanting, which we'll be doing 7 to 9, and also discussing. Vishnu Smaran, remembering God. Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Satyam, Kastyam, Atmani Vedam. So it's simple, it's just offering our food stuff, chanting Hare Krishna, especially early in the morning. I had a wonderful friend called Shirupa. He lives in Czech Republic now, but he would always tell me about getting up early, and he himself, he would get up every morning at 3:30, no matter what, and he said that you have a different lifestyle when you get up at that time in the morning for the rest of the day. I'm not able to do it at the moment. I'm working towards it. I average about 5:15 or so, but even 5:15, it's a very powerful time as well. But I spend the time actually hearing. I listen to some incredible philosophers, amazing people, and obviously I listen to Prabhupada. Prabhupada is discussing all of these things. Prabhupada is the kind of he's the person behind all the philosophers I listen to anyway. But and then I try to chant. I try to chant as best I can, concentrating. And I've been doing it for 42 years, and the mind is vicious. I won't use cursing words here, but because we're online as well. But the mind is the most distracting thing. It says in Bhagavad Gita, the mind can be your greatest friend, and it can be your biggest enemy. So that's why I listen to all these people, and I listen to Prabhupada constantly, because it helps me make the mind my friend, and the value of that is that it focuses me on this whole process of Bhakti Yoga, and I feel so good. There's no better feeling than to be able to control the mind and the senses. There's no feeling. There's nothing on this planet that comes anywhere close to that. But there's one thing which surpasses it, and that is this simple world called love. This giant of a man was brought down by a thing called love. We all kind of hanker for what this love is, and we're seeing it. We're looking for it everywhere. Everywhere we're looking for love. But bhakti means love of God. It's a love of God is the original love. It's the adi ras, which is God's love as well. We can study the whole psychology of love to its highest degree in Bhakti Yoga. It's what enthuses us. It's what what it dictates to us, you could say. That's the wrong word, I suppose. But all of these different processes of getting up early, of hearing the Shastra, of chanting Hare Krishna, of listening to elevated devotees speaking about this. It's Bhagavad Gita and Prabhupada's purport, Bhagavatam, was written in trance. It was like there was no distraction. It was complete focus on spirituality. And if us listening and hearing, we also can get into that trance. As I said, it's the most beautiful feeling, especially early in the morning. But then afterwards, it unleashes the torrent of love that's in our heart, which we direct towards Krishna. So we were speaking at the start about the tendency to want things for ourselves. It's just we're programmed from our karma. But when we program ourselves with bhakti yoga, we program ourselves to love Krishna, and it's not. Then it becomes totally spontaneous. We cannot stop it. It is unbelievable direction towards loving God, and it gives us the greatest satisfaction. It helps us to be proper living human beings in this world as well. Because if we're loving God, we will love everybody else. Not only will we love every other person, but we will love every other creature, just like Lord Buddha 2,500 years ago. So we will learn how to live in this world, and the effect of it. This is what Prabhupada is trying to achieve in each and every one of us. He wants all of us to experience this love, and to give it to others, to experience it ourselves, and to give it to others. Is there any other comments anyone else would like to add, or any other questions even?
I'll add something, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Earlier, as you said, that the age that we're living, it's not the appropriate place for the fire sacrifice and everything. So
Uh-huh.
I heard lectures some times ago that there is still the sacrifice. Our ear is the sacrificial pit. Our mouth is the spoon that we use to pour the ghee.
Yeah.
That's where Harinam, Mahamantra, we sing from our mouth and listen it from our ears.
That's a beautiful analogy, actually. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So it's in other words, it's still available. So, and funny, in the 7 texts that we're studying, 5 of them, Prabhupada says that. I mean, you know what I mean? He brings it right back to that. I was going to read 3:14, but I just go briefly back to 3. I think it's 3:9 or 3:10. Let me just check it. I'm gonna just take a little bit of time just to find this. So just give me a minute. I want to, because it's the beautiful verse from the Bhagavatam. I'm all thumbs here. Yeah. In the age of Kali, this is Prabhupada speaking, in the age of Kali, the Sankirtan Yogya, the chanting of the names of God, is recommended by the Vedic scriptures. And this transcendental system was introduced by Lord Chaitanya for the deliverance of all men in this age. Sankirtan Yogya and Krishna consciousness go well together. Lord Krishna in his devotional form as Lord Chaitanya is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32 as follows, with special reference to the Sankirtan Yogya. I'm highlighting this because we're studying Bhagavad Gita, which is, the main scripture, but the next scripture is called Srimad Bhagavatam, and Srimad Bhagavatam is God. He left in 5,000 years ago, and he incarnated as Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence, is the pure Purana, it's the spotless Purana. And it gives us instruction on how to attain this, what we're talking about, love of Godhead. It gives us direct instruction on how to do that. And it says it forecasts 4,500 years later, the Lord Chaitanya is going to appear. Krishna Varna Manash Trishat Krishnam Sangopangas Traparshadam Yagya Sankirtanaka Yagya Jantihi Sumedasa. In this age of Kali, people who are endowed with sufficient intelligence, that's all of us here hopefully, will worship the Lord, who is accompanied by his associates, by the performance of the Sankirtan Yogya. Other yogyas prescribed in the Vedic literatures are not so easy to perform in this age of Kali. The Sankirtan Yogya is easy and sublime for all purposes as recommended in the Bhagavad Gita. And it's in the 9:14, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatantas Chadridhavata. Krishna says, always chanting my glories, always enlightening other people about me as well. So this is the chanting. Let me just think again. I'm not finished yet. Nearly finished. Is there any other comments? I'll just finish on one point, and it was something that just came up on the last week. The easiest thing to do is to do something in devotional service, which is kind of like our propensity, what we like doing, and we do that for Krishna. Prabhupada says it in the 3.9 or 3.10. He says that you need expert guidance, and we discussed that last week. Here in Dublin, Yatra, we're trying to set up systems so that people can get that expert guidance in that sense. We have the system here. It says 4:30. Just try to learn the truth by surrendering unto, by inquiring from a spiritual master. So we're trying to create, or there's spiritual masters that are available in the world. And we're trying to create that connection with people so they can get a spiritual guide, so they have a spiritual guide. So we're starting up these systems here in Dublin so that people can actually have connection like that. But at the same time, and this is an important point which I didn't mention last week, is anybody who's coming along at the start in Krishna consciousness and they don't have that exactly. But there is a spiritual guide, a spiritual master that takes shelter in it, and that's from our Iskcon system, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. That in the first 6 months or year or whatever, before taking a spiritual guide, we take spiritual guidance from Srila Prabhupada. He's that's been recommended by all the spiritual guides in the world today, because they in our Iskcon society. So that's why when we have these classes here, I try to bring in exactly what Prabhupada is saying, and then we discuss it. Because by that churning of what Prabhupada is saying, we'll get spiritual knowledge coming directly from Srila Prabhupada in that sense. So that is the initial kind of, shelter that's there in Srila Prabhupada. And that discussion, as much as we can, will bring all of us further and further and further on the path of spiritual life. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna. So, I'm just going to do some Kirtan. I'm going to start off. Thank you. I can do either. Is that easy terrible?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, oh yeah. I want to. Do you want to start?
That's enough for you.
Okay, I'll just say. Hare Rama, Hare
Hare Hare Ellen? Madhava. Melody. That's different.
Ram
No.
Hare Hare
Maybe we can stand up and do a kirtan. Rama, 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 Hare Hare
Hare Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. श्री पंच तत्व की जय, शिव प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे।
Kirtan stops problems first. Nice man.
What was that? Oh, yeah, yeah.